You're watching DCTV. Now here's your host, the voice, Dave Canning. It's you, it's me, it's DCTV. It's you, it's me, it's DCTV. Let's start the show. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. It is you, it is me, it is NRD and T, and welcome to episode 86 of the Wrestling Nerd Broadcast. I am still here in the Dave Cave. As of now, I spoke to my landlord earlier, and per the stipulation of All Out and George's attentiveness at the event, I am being forced to vacate, so he has given me 2 weeks to leave the premises. So after that, I don't know where I'll be recording. Hopefully somewhere with Wi-Fi. Probably Starbucks, but you know, it's how you make friends everywhere or get kicked out. But All Out, a new king was crowned. Spaceman George made his All Elite Wrestling debut as the Joker in the Casino ladder match, as he predicted. And you can check out our predictions and even me and Margaret's reactions to when Stokely Hathaway technically did win the ladder match. And MJF's arrival at the end. This will be a very spoiler-heavy episode, so if you haven't watched All Out yet, how did you get here? But yeah, so All Out was a thing that happened this weekend in Chicago, and I'd say the most exciting part is what happened when the show wasn't even going on, and that was the AEW Media Scrum. I'm sorry, Nick, do you have something to say?
I have something to say about Spaceman George.
Oh, great.
Spaceman George, if you're watching this, you punk. Spaceman George said that when he won the crown, that he was going to give it to me and I was going to be the king of the nerds. But guess what? Spaceman George, MIA since he got this crown. Not returning my calls, not returning my texts. You know what, Spaceman George? You probably share a bank account with your mama, Spaceman George. You couldn't even be the king of Target, Spaceman George. Let me tell you something about Spaceman George. Spaceman George, I'm going to eat my muffin and I'm going to walk my dog and I'm going to drink my whatever these little cans of soda are. And and you're just going to have to take it, Spaceman George.
To everybody watching out there, I should have answered your questions when you asked them about this. Nick, I'm sorry. Like, I would give you an awkward hug right now if I could, with my weird haircut, but yeah, but that's what you get for trusting a guy who's in bed with Gerald there. I'm sorry. Shout out to the Hudson Bakery, some of the best cupcakes in Peekskill.
To answer this one day, you just watch.
Oh, I would love to see Nick versus Spaceman George.
Me too. I would love to see that.
I'd love to see that happen.
Like, I bet you Dylan Chivers would come in with a chair and just throw it across, probably knock out somebody's brother in the process.
He probably shares a bank account with his mama too.
I would
Gerald is probably coming out biting shoulders and stuff.
I would bite Gerald. That's how mad I am at that little punk. Tell you what.
Do you want to start on the media scrum or do you want to start on the event?
Let's start on the scrum just because it had the biggest outburst afterwards, as you can see. CM Punk just going off on Colt Cabana and their thing. Can somebody answer this? Is Colt Cabana still in AEW or no? I'm not
in ROH sure. Technically.
Okay, so he's in the other end of the mall. He's not working where the cool kids hang out.
But I think he does backstage stuff. Like I think he does training and stuff with AEW.
I gotcha. But yeah, so first of all, the AEW Media Scrum, for those of you who aren't aware, AEW after their pay-per-views, typically on their YouTube channel, will do a post-game press conference, essentially for how you'd see in any sporting event. Now, the problem is this. They invite all these media journalists, like your Dave Meltzers, your Brian Alvarez's and such, and it's treated like it's a real thing, but like they don't know how to handle it in a way. Like somebody, like obviously you got CM Punk calling out the EVPs or Kenny and the Young Bucks, but then when Tony, so like they wanted to be like, yeah, this is real, but then when somebody asked Tony the question when Swerve and Our Glory were at the podium, like, oh, did you think about calling an audible in the ring? Like, all of a sudden, it's not real. Let's just talk about the match. Just talk about the match. Like, they want it to be real, but then respect kayfabe at the same time, and you gotta, in a way, yeah.
It was
weird
for them to ask if they wanted to call an audible, because it's like, it's not supposed to be scripted, like we're supposed to suspend belief of there is a planned outcome to this. So it is kind of weird that they ask that. I have a lot of beef with this media scrum. The only person that held themselves respectfully was Tony Storm and Chris Jericho. And Chris Jericho is phenomenal backstage. I'm tired of him on camera. I'm getting tired of a lot of his bits, but the way he carries himself backstage is admirable. Tony Storm's media scrum interview was incredible. She just spoke like, there's incredible women and I want to wrestle them. And she named them, and Tony Khan named them, and I enjoyed that.
Even
I
she
don't
called
like
out Versa though. Basically,
what's that?
Even she called out Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna wrestle her and I'm gonna beat her. It's that
she's
simple.
like, yeah, if
Never
she
she's
even
done
is injured.
beating
But like, that was a good way to do that.
Mhm.
That wasn't saying Thunder Rosa, she's not hurt. She shares a bank account with her mom. And you know what? Her dog sucks. Like, it's just, I don't know. I want to touch on the Swerve and Keith Lee thing as well. I just felt like it wasn't appropriate.
Yeah, it felt weird to me because, like, yes, in terms of making it feel like a real sport in a way, that post-game media conference, you never get that in wrestling previously. And like, you never get the like immediate reaction, like, oh, Punk, we just saw MJF come out. What's it like? To cut that post-game promo away. You get that as a dark segment or whatever. But like, to me, just the way that Punk, like, I'll be honest, I've only gotten up to the Tony Storm portion. I don't even know if I finished it. I watched Punk, Swerve in Their Glory, and Tony Storm. But just the way that they come off, it doesn't come off like, oh, Punk's angry and wants to fight the world. It comes off like you have no control of your company, Tony. And Jonathan Hodap, in our Patreon Facebook chat, patreon.com/WNRDB, had the best analogy, and I give him full credit for this, that Tony Khan comes off like a victim of domestic violence in these media scrums, like just standing by his man as he just shoots himself in the foot, and it, I love it, but at the same time, it's like it's doing more harm than good. But
Punk came off as a whiny, entitled little brat.
Yep.
And my biggest beef, and I know AEW is not TV PG, whatever. My biggest beef is, one, I'll say it, I love cursing. I curse all the time. I watch who I curse around, though. They have that AJ Awesome podcast kid there every media scrum, and I love that they do that. And I think the way that these adults handle themselves is very negative to be done in front of a child. And I'm sure AJ is fully capable of making his own decisions and understanding, like, what's right and wrong. But like, I don't know, man. It was too much and it was uncomfortable to watch. I felt bad for Tony Khan. Mm-hmm. I should never feel bad for someone in a billionaire family.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll say this. To me, I'd like to touch on 2 points. And as far as Tony Khan's involvement, he does not, like, he can go give his own statement in the media scrum. I got no problem with that. But then he shouldn't have to be sitting up there with each wrestler that comes up. That's unnecessary. Yeah. Like, let it just be about Punk, not Punk's interaction with Tony Khan during these things, or Punk's interaction with Swerve in Our Glory. So this way, it wouldn't have been asked during, like, because then it's one thing if you want to ask a serious question, from a business standpoint to Tony Khan, like, oh, what was your thought about calling an audible? He can answer that from a backstage perspective. I don't mind crossing the line there. Yeah. But don't ask Swerve in Our Glory about calling an audible. Like, of course they're not going to want, like, obviously clearly, you don't want to lose. But
Keith Lee was clearly frustrated that was the first time he's ever been booed like that.
Yep.
Because the Acclaimed are so over right now.
And they even mentioned in the media scrum, it's like, oh, I think that's a great rematch to have at Grand Slam. They're like, why? We just beat them. Like,
yeah.
So, but then as far as the cursing thing, I took several like college like speech and classes and whatnot, and I had a professor that literally said he does not mind if we swear in our speeches when like obviously depending on the assignment, but it has to be in the right use. You can't just say fudge this, fudge that, shoot this. You know, it has to be right. Like last week when Ace Steel came out and like got Punk riled up, he said, "You're gonna effing sign this contract." It's like, whoa.
It was effective use.
Exactly. It's effective use. Jade just saying, "I'm that bitch" every 5 seconds. Like, yeah, I get it's your tagline, but it kind of loses that. Like, it's when it was definitely recently, or maybe within the last couple of years, that the WWE Women's Division, like, it was just like, "You're a bitch, you're a bitch, you're a bit." Like, oh boy. Like the first time they said it, great, but then they said it 5 seconds later, and it just loses all effectiveness. So,
yep.
It's cool to swear by all means, but it loses effectiveness if you just use that as often as the, and the, you know. So
yeah.
But I would like to try a cupcake from wherever CM Punk got that cupcake. I love cupcakes.
He was putting those down.
He was putting those down and putting them over. And I'll say this, like they mentioned, like I've seen several people like, yeah, you know, Mox looks strong because he got his win against Punk. And I'll say this, if anything, to me, it makes him look weak. Like, dude, you squashed him, okay, and then you lost to him a week later. Like, if anything,
Not
to
even.
me, it makes me think Punk looks weak. That's just my take on that thing. I think it would have been fine. Like, Moxley would have looked better if he had just eaten this loss, you know. But that's just 50-50 booking. That's another can of gummy worms there. But
it was weird. I don't know.
I definitely understand the wanting to call an audible and the acclaimed and whatnot. But again, you can't, like you said, Tom, you can't ask that question because that might not fit into the storyline of where it's going. Are you going to throw out an entire thing of storyline? And if you like, what if the storyline is to give them the titles, but in their hometown at Grand Slam?
It's AEW has done a good job with a lot of long-term stories. Kenny and Hangman, for instance, and the whole MJF thing, like prior to All Out, like the MJF Jericho thing, the Pinnacle, and the Pinnacle sucked and didn't go well, but like they really are intentional with things. So would I have loved to see the Acclaimed win the titles? Absolutely. I was out of my mind during that match. You couldn't have called an audible. It was the best decision because if they do the rematch at Grand Slam, that stadium is going to be fire.
How do we know that? Because I'll be there. I'll be there with Margaret. I'll be there with Killer Kathleen. I'll even be there with my girlfriend Danielle, who's somehow stuck by me, even though I'm getting evicted. So, you know, she's a good girl. Ryan, you've been
our group chat, the Patreon chat, was going off today about CM Punk. Like,
yep.
I think the consensus is like, we get it. You've accomplished things. I said he's been an average wrestler with above average mic skills, but there's no reason for the chip on his shoulder, and I don't get where it's coming from.
To me, and I thought about this too, because he made a statement in that media scrum that was somewhere along the lines of like, you've got these guys who remind me of who are young and think they know everything, you know, and much like I knew everything when I was their age, and they want to be on top. And like, and then he just went on to say, like, well, I wasn't put on top. So like, but okay, so you were in a different spot at the age of whatever you were in 2010 or whatever it was. Like when you had those Money in the Bank ladder, you know, match briefcases, you know, you were, you know, just because you weren't allowed to shine at that age doesn't mean somebody else is not allowed to shine at that age. MJF is what, like 24, maybe something in that area? Like, because you didn't get that opportunity, he can't have that opportunity. Like he's like, yeah, I'm just tired of working with all these young pricks, but Tony's the booker, man, you know, so it's his call. Well, my thing is this: CM Punk wants to be like CM Punk is a great wrestler. He's a great talker. He is the Money in the Bank storyline in 2011 with him versus Cena is my favorite storyline in the history of wrestling. It's one of my favorite matches and storylines overall. But he wants to be praised and hailed like Hulk Hogan, John Cena, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Triple H all rolled into one. He wants to be treated like God. And until he's treated like that, he will continue to think he has this unnecessary chip on his shoulder. And like he talked about Scott Coleman, Cole Cabana, like I wanted to take a guy to the top with me who didn't want to see me at the top. You don't want anybody to be at the top with you. You want somebody to be number 2. You never want somebody to be 1 and 1A with you. And it just comes off like I wasn't allowed to do that when I was your age, so you're not allowed to do that at your age. And I'm sorry, MJF has the potential to surpass you. He already has on the mic. And I think if there wasn't a 15 match burnt out crowd, that MJF pop would have been even louder than it was.
Cole Cabana also, I don't think ever wants to be on the top.
No.
He wants to just have fun.
Exactly.
Like, so it's just a bullshit remark. Like, don't blame someone else for your failures. You blame WWE for your failures. You didn't get your way. Granted, there was things WWE did wrong. Yes. I will fully agree to that. But you didn't get your way and you quit.
Mm-hmm. No,
it's just like, no, I'm not going to go there. I was going to bring the puppet into it.
No, but I completely agree with that. No, that puppet Gerald is a piece of trash right now to me. But I do agree that WWE did do things wrong and could have definitely maximized their potential with Punk. But I think Punk is just one of those guys like, no, I want my glory. You all like, he's like, yeah, we built this house on my back. Like, dude, your match wasn't even announced until a week. Like, we didn't know what the main event was going to be a week out, you know? It was not built on you. It was built on you and Mox. And there was other matches we were excited to see. There was always the talk of MJF coming back. As short of a segment as it was, I was disappointed to see like we didn't get a true payoff between Christian and Jungle Boy. Personally, that's something I was looking forward to.
But
like, yeah, Punk needs to realize, you know, he's one man. He is not Hulk Hogan. He's not John Cena. And he's not going to be. He's not even, yeah, you're right. He's not even Chris Jericho. You know, CM Punk is just a guy who comes off as, until I get to do it, nobody else does. And if they do get to do it, I hate them for it.
And I want to say, I want to hear from Nick and Ryan, but I want to say, I'm not the person who was like, well, CM Punk just pissed me off, so I hate CM Punk. I have been saying for months how over CM Punk I am in our group chat.
Yeah.
So I am not a bandwagon hate CM Punk guy. I don't get it. The only good thing about him is he has cool trunks. When he wears pants, it looks kind of weird.
CM pants. But Ryan, I don't even think you said a word this time. You had 6 gummy bears, but what were your thoughts on the thing while you celebrated your birthday?
How did I?
I'm saying you enjoyed All Out while you celebrated your birthday.
I enjoyed my birthday.
Oh,
yay!
This guy. Ta-da!
As for my niece, Pinata, she'll get it soon. It's mine now. Yeah, I did not get to enjoy wrestling. I enjoyed the Patreon chat as always. You know, you guys keep me up to date with wrestling. But the Scrump, I mean, I think Scrump's a great guy. I'm glad that he's getting the recognition. Everyone's talking about Scrump.
Media Scrum, not Scrump from the PWT cast.
No, I'm going to watch it after this. I just, rolled into town, like I said, after the birthday weekend and going to watch it now. I'm interested. Me too. I am not a huge CM Punk guy. I was not watching wrestling when he came around, so I don't have the nostalgia. Besides watching belated things, it doesn't hit the same. So, yeah, I've just been hearing a lot of not so good things. So I'm curious to watch it. I mean, there's hype there at least. I really want. That's going to bring me the YouTube to watch that just for the.
This also was an event, like I know we're going to talk about what happened. I want to let you know, like this is an event that could have been spoiled and it would still be good to watch.
Yep. I think the problem is there was 15 matches. They added a match onto the pre-show, the 0 hour, excuse me. So there was 4 matches in an hour. To me, the pre-show should have 1-2 matches max. The whole purpose of the pre-show is to sell you on the main card, not just because how are they supposed to sell you on this Moxley Punk matchup, this blood feud of Jungle Boy and Christian, this wrestling rivalry of Jericho and Danielson? How are they supposed to sell you on that if we're just seeing Ishii and Eddie for no reason? Or we're seeing Ruby and Santana versus Tay and Sammy.
There's like no point. And Eddie was an incredible.
No, I'm not saying it wasn't. That was a lot of fun to watch. I love watching those two guys just slap meat for 20 minutes there, and even the Kip Sabian Pac feud, in which I just got to say quick how upset I am that they did that, because Kip Sabian sat in the crowd for a year with a box on his head, only to come back and lose to Pac in his first match. Like, it makes no sense. Like, have that guy come back and win a couple of matches, but. To me, you put on all those matches at 0 hour, like, yeah, we watched them because we sat down and we're eating or whatever. But then you could have cut so much off that as well. Like the Wardlow FTR match versus Jay Lethal and the Guns. I love Wardlow. Obviously, Margaret is in love with Wardlow. I love Jay Lethal too, but nobody wanted to see those guys in the match. We all would rather see FTR versus the Machine Guns in a dream tag match. You didn't need, like, obviously the Jungle Boy and Christian match got, I believe Christian has a torn bicep, so that's why that got cut short. So, and then you had Luchasaurus becoming the big show of AEW turning. Yeah, you didn't need 14. Obviously, like they say, everybody, including myself, loves the Acclaim. That match was great, but it didn't have the hype of a pay-per-view match. It and this is my thing, especially now that they have all these titles. Just because it's a title does not mean it needs to be on the pay-per-view in a way. Like the TBS title. Did anybody care about that? No offense, Jade. No offense, Athena. Nobody cared. I just want to see that card again, just to go through it again.
So let's just start from the beginning. The first match was the Casino Battle Royal.
Yes. And you know what? I love matches like that. As predictable as it was that it would be a Joker. Obviously, you could see me and Margaret's reactions to that match on this channel, which Stokely Hathaway wins wins the poker chip. You know, and it's always fun to see guys like that who are super flippy dippy. You know, Dante Martin, I don't believe, obeys the laws of gravity. Just doing all sorts of springboards and whatnot. The editing was a little weird because, like, obviously you have Stokely unmasked, and then like you don't get a close-up on everybody. You saw Ethan Page, you quickly see W. Morrissey, but you didn't Lee Moriarty was there, the Gun Club was there. And I'm not sure if the Gun Club was there. I'm not even sure if anybody else was there. But then Spaceman George walks out as the magician who reveals the greatest secrets, and somehow transformed into MJF. But yeah, that was okay. It was a little bit of a delay in a way when Stokely's got the chip and then the Joker comes out.
The music though was great.
Great song. Like, I want to be so rich that I can buy a Rolling Stone song. I'm not saying for $1.29 on iTunes. Like, what did that cost?
That I couldn't. I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah.
I was like, I had a bunch of people over that don't watch wrestling. I had 4 friends and my wife, none of which watch wrestling.
Yep.
And that song came on, and I was just confused.
Yep.
And kind of running around my living room, not knowing what's happening. And then it's just all these dudes in masks. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Yep. And then they took the chip, and I'm like, what? Is it over? And then, the magician comes out, and I convinced myself that I knew it was MJF, but for a while I'm like trying to get a glimpse of like the wrist and the walk. The giveaways, MJF's got a booty. So like you saw the dunk and you're like, all right, this has to be MJF.
What gave it to me?
Just leave.
Yep. What gave it to me was when he got in the ring and just like did that, like just the way he kind of swings it into the ring over it. that was my sign that it was him. But I think they did it great that there was no eventual cash in, that he just comes off the end. I think it's a good ending. So after that match, they had let's see. Okay, so I don't have this in order. I'm sorry. We had the interim women's world title, which I thought was fun. I think Toni Storm was the correct winner. I like the little bit of dissension between Jamie and Britt. See where that goes.
I want to see that feud happen bad, and I want Jamie Hayter to just demolish Britt Baker.
Yep, I completely agree with that. Then you had Swerve and Glory versus the Acclaimed.
Match of the night.
Great, yes, probably match of the night. However, I wasn't that excited for it. You know, just because it's a great match doesn't mean it should have been on the pay-per-view. No offense.
I was yelling the entire time.
It was,
literally yelling, playing rock, paper, scissor me daddy with my friends. And no one would scissor me. They thought it was hysterical, but they did not understand and want to participate. That match, I think just the excitement of the crowd got it over. And I just think overall, just in ring, incredible match. I usually don't care about Keith Lee. And, I forgot Keith Lee's so agile.
Yep.
And seeing that was really cool. Hi, puppy.
Yep. Next match, they've got FTR and Wardlow versus Jay Lethal and the Machine Guns. We talked about that. Again, not a match that I thought was pay-per-view worthy. Great moment at the end with Cash, Dax, whichever's daughter, came out breaking Sanjay Dutt. Adorable pay-per-view moment, again, but not a match that I needed to see on that pay-per-view. Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho, I thought was great, but to be that late in the card was just too slow after too long of a show, in my opinion. It was technically sound, but at the end, too long of a show that bored me out. Then obviously a Jungle Boy versus Christian Cage didn't really happen, but I'm fine with that. Then you have Ricky Starks versus Will Hobbs. What's up?
Jungle Boy, Christian Cage. I just want to really just say that power bomb, whatever, onto the grates was intense.
Did you see the picture of Jungle Boy posted on Twitter?
He is wrecked. That was shocking.
Did you see the picture of Jungle Boy?
I figured it was like a gimmick stage. He's gonna go through it. There's gonna be the crash pad, whatever. It's gonna be cool. That was like, whoa. I
don't know if this will show well here, but you can see the grate in his back.
Just like this.
Pretty much. The front of Ryan's shirt is what Jack Perry's back looks like. But like they mentioned, like that's shooting off pyro all night, so it's definitely hot. But so, yeah, sad that didn't happen. Ricky Starks versus Will Hobbs, I think, would have been better suited at Grand Slam. Like, it was definitely a blood feud. There was anger. There was reasoning behind it. I love that Taz was on it and sounding almost like a conflicted parent at times, watching their kids fight. But again, not a big enough match that I think should have been on the pay-per-view. I think would have been better suited for like a special edition Dynamite. Again, like they're going to do a Grand Slam in 3 weeks. House of Black versus Sting, Darby and Miro, a completely pointless match to have on this pay-per-view. Again, you could have done that on Grand Slam. And I'm not just saying you could do it on Grand Slam because I'm going to be there. I'm just saying because I know that's the next special edition Dynamite they're doing. That's all. Because I don't even want to see that match. I just want to see the Acclaim win the tag titles at Grand Slam. That's just my opinion.
Is Malachi done? I read that they hugged, he bowed, kissed.
I think he's going to take a break because obviously, yes, there was all the rumor that he asked for his release and it was denied. And then after the match was over, the Dark Order, or not the Dark Order, the House of Black hugged, and then he blew a kiss to the crowd. So some people are thinking that'd be done. He'd definitely be one of Triple H's boys as a former NXT champion. But I don't think he's done. I do not think because here's the thing. What happened to you in AEW right now is what happened in WWE because they had too many people. And I think WWE still has too many people. They just don't have enough stars. That's their biggest problem. They've just got everybody. AEW has too many stars to put over right now. So that's a big problem of theirs. Then you have the TBS Championship, Jade Cargill versus Athena. if you want if you need a match to bring the crowd, like the come down match, they say it. I guess this is fine. I'm not saying that because it's a women's match. I thought Athena could, I'll say this. I thought Athena could actually beat Jade Cargill because she's the most credible opponent. Like, no offense, but I don't see them giving this undefeated streak away to somebody that just came in, like as a nobody. Not saying Athena's a nobody.
Hair was fine.
Yeah, but
I don't know, man.
Jade almost fell over those bricks and almost became the She Master. They were calling her the Sheik Master. Oh man, would have been brutal if she tripped over those bricks. Would have been done. 37, and who cares? Then obviously they have the Elite versus the Dark Order for the Trios title. That was a great match. I thought it was fun.
It was an awesome match.
It was an awesome match. My problem is this. I don't know what they're trying to do with the Bucks and Kenny. Like, are they heels? Are they faces? Like, it's like,
I thought Silver was going to win. I thought John Silver was going to get a pin on Kenny Omega.
So did I.
And
they deserve it too, quite honestly. I wouldn't be mad at the Dark Order winning because, like I said in the prediction, like you see where they came from, like being jobbers in those first couple episodes of Dynamite to how over they are. It's insane. They are the only thing I truly watch in BTE every week. Like I watch the Bucks segment and I watch the Dark Order segment, and everything else can just kind of get thrown by the wayside.
You don't watch the Hollywood Hunks?
No, I do not watch.
We need to address, I think, the whole media scrum thing, put the kibosh on a Being the Elite coming out today because there was no episode today, and there's always an episode after pay-per-views, no matter what. And I think I think this shit really did hit the fan because I meant to say before, there's no Being the Elite today. And this would be the first week they miss, I think.
Wow, ever. I didn't even notice that.
So I think it actually went down because that's just free money for them at this point.
Oh yeah. Let's see. What is the latest video? Yeah, no, the last episode they have is last week, episode 321, High Rolling in Cleveland. So, I'm curious. I just also want to check what the Young Bucks Twitter bio is.
Nothing. It's empty.
Silent.
I would like to say though, those shoes that they've got coming out at Champs, those are sweet.
I didn't see the clear shot of them.
They're very nice. Hold on, let me see if I can.
Find me a picture and send it to me. Nick, did you watch?
Do watch what?
All that.
Parts of it, not all of it. I've seen the main event. I've seen like the first couple matches.
Yeah.
Did you see our friend Anthony Ego?
Yes, no. Robert Anthony was sparring with Moxley backstage. It was really awesome. I sent him the video, and I believe he posted it on his Twitter.
That was before me.
Let's see. I'm just trying to find the sneakers still.
So I think I just want to touch too on the House of Black match. This is the best role for Julia Hart. 1, 2. House of Black looked very good in that match.
Yep.
But specifically, so did Miro.
Yep.
Darby, I'm kind of over Darby. I'm kind of over Sting. I think Sting maybe needs to kind of start phasing out because, like you said, AEW is filled with stars. Let's start building more homegrown stars. I think Darby's just, his thing is getting old to me. He does the same thing every match.
I'll say it was very weird at the end of the House of Black Miro Darby Sting trios match because Sting blows miss in the face of Malachi, but his face is all painted black. You couldn't even tell. I was like, did he just spit on him?
Color. It should have been white mist.
Yeah, I was like, did he just spit on him? That's very rude. So, but yeah, and then obviously the main event, Mox versus Punk, a fun match. It was very good. I thought it was better than the squash match.
I was surprised Mox didn't bleed.
Yeah, somebody said that. I was like, he bleeds all the time when he sneezes, and then boom,
I had a time in for 39 seconds. I thought 39 seconds into the match, Mox will bleed.
Yep. Nope.
I was wrong.
But I do like, especially the end, like they play the voicemail from Tony Khan again. You can see our reactions to that on the YouTube channel. That was cool, like breaking the fourth wall on that, like a kayfabe thing. And then he comes out and says like, "I am the devil." Puts the scarf on, comes out,
So good.
does this motion, flips off the crowd. Good night, everyone.
So is he a face now?
I don't know. I mean, he flipped off the crowd, so I don't.
He flipped off the crowd, but like,
I think it's inevitable that
we suck. We suck. We suck. I'll say this: if he wins the title at Grand Slam, which is my hope, people are saying like you can stretch it out to Full Gear, which you could, but like you gotta pull the trigger now. Give him the title now,
and you do it for free on television.
They've never gave the belt up on. No, I don't. I'm trying to think. Other than the TNT title, have any titles changed hands on TV?
No, I think that is the way to do it. It gets more people than are going to want to buy the Full Gear pay-per-view because it'll be the rematch.
Exactly, and you can do that. You go give Punk more time off. That's fine. But yeah, so pretty interesting. We're excited to see what happens on Dynamite this week. We're excited to see what happens with PTE if that comes out. But yeah, so a big old weekend of wrestling. We didn't even touch on Clash of the Castle and Worlds Collide and stuff like that. It was pretty wild, but that'll be a conversation for another time.
Big up to I just gotta say, big up to that Ricochet match on Worlds Collide.
Oh,
I don't know
it's phenomenal.
That guy is that he wrestled, but
Carmelo Hayes.
That could be a match of the year contender. That was fire.
Fantastic.
I like the flips. So
and even the Tyler Bate Braun Breaker match at the end, phenomenal ending there. Those two knew how to work a great match. But yeah, so there was a lot of wrestling this weekend, which is why our top 3 Tuesday for this episode will be our top 3 favorite things from the weekend in wrestling.
Oh my God.
So I say we go in TNRD order.
Sure.
So Tom, I'm going to let you go first. What was your 3 favorite things from this weekend in wrestling?
I went to a toy fair, and I'll grab a couple. Some guy made custom Lego minifigure wrestlers.
Oh, those are awesome.
And I looked at them, and I said, "How many?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's all of them." I go, "Cool, I'll take them." I didn't even ask him what they cost.
Nice.
Oh shit! I got 7 of them, and it was like $20. I'm like, that's way less than I thought I was gonna spend. Is that a highlight on my weekend? Yeah. You know what else might be a highlight on my weekend?
Oh, he bought it.
It's not the new one. It's an old one. But I got a Doink figure. I'm not paying $200 for a Doink figure. So top one, I got some cool wrestling toys. I got a Buff Bagwell figure too, but I don't know if I actually love him anymore. Number 2 is I honestly think the Clash in the Castle crowd losing their minds for Bayley and her saying no, shut up when they were singing to her was so good because you can't stop that when you're there. Yeah. Number 3 is I think that my $50 was well spent on All Out. I'm okay with it. I really love the Acclaimed. I didn't think I'd ever say that. I hated them. And I'm a big fan of them now.
Fantastic. So, Nick, what was your 3 favorite things of this weekend in wrestling?
Well, honestly, I don't think I've watched enough wrestling this weekend to actually have a top 3.
Oh, jeez.
So instead, I'm just going to go back to the CM Punk thing again and say that, well, first of all, AEW does a good job. I don't know what is real and what's not real. They have a good job of taking dirt sheets and working the dirt sheets and working everybody. So this all could just be bullshit. But I just want to say that you cannot, supposedly there was a fight after this media scrum where he punched one of the Jacksons in the face, and then there was this whole big thing. You cannot punch somebody that's in a position of power, and I don't give a fuck who you are.
Yeah.
You just can't do that. And if you're especially I'm looking at Tom's shirt here. If you're Eddie Kingston and you got suspended because you smacked the shit out of Sammy Guevara,
that's why I wore this shirt.
You got CM Punk walking around smacking DDP. That's a big problem. So
listen, can I touch on that really quick? Because I commented this on a post and it blew up, and I told everyone to watch broadcast. I have watched CM Punk's UFC fights. You know damn well he landed none of those shots on the Bucks. Just saying. I'm talking to you, Phil.
So I mean I don't know. I just think that there's a sloppiness going on.
Tony Khan's got to come out on Wednesday and say he's taking the title off CM Punk and he's fired.
And he's giving it to Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they're going to defend it every week on Sunday in the NFL season.
Also,
imagine
that he immediately comes into the scrum. I know it's the top three. I'm sorry, but I just had to go circle back to this. He immediately comes in. The first thing he does is attack all the reporters' credibility as actually being reporters, and then he was like, "Hey, didn't you used to do improv with Colt Cabana? Let me tell you about Colt Cabana." And then goes on. Nobody said a fucking word about Colt Cabana.
Exactly.
Somebody goes off this thing. And then another thing in the middle of it, he's like, all this drama and all this thing. I'm trying to run a business. You're not an EVP. You're not trying to run anything. You're not in charge of anything, Phil. Come on.
Top 3 reasons Nick hates Phil Brooks.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. The scrum was pretty good. I liked when Spaceman George debuted, and I liked when Spaceman George won the championship with the crown. You know, he didn't give it to me like he said he would, but that's okay. And I liked when he got kicked out of his house. Those are my favorite moments.
Ryan, how about you?
Let's see. Tom said he went to a toy type fair. I did as well. I would have messaged people in the group if I'd seen anything. Surprisingly, I didn't see anything that spoke to me for you all. But I did get one thing. I never knew this rap game existed. I will be rapping on my PS2.
What? Get on the mic.
What?
Oh my God.
In the comfort of my own home, I love karaoke. I've only done it once in public, but so that was a good buy. Happened during the weekend.
Right here.
Is that Master?
Really?
Yeah, is that Master? I don't know.
No, isn't this like Jada Kiss from the
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we're not allowed to do Master P and wrestling anymore because of Cody. Make them say,
Yeah.
I went to grab my. I gotta interrupt you. I went to grab my PS2 to show off, and I found an MJF poster.
Random.
One more top moment before I forget. Top moment is DDJ with the most well-placed Tom Says Hi sign ever.
Oh my God! Right? We gotta listen. Listen here, brothers. Go watch Shooting Shit with DDJ. I've never felt more loved in my. And I'm not taking it away from you, Dave. That I don't talk to DDJ as much as I talk to Dave. That made me feel so good. So subscribe to Shooting Shit. Be friends with DDJ. He'll make a sign with your name on it and make it on the pay-per-views.
Right there. That was amazing.
Like, that's just incredible. Like, the fact that started as just a random joke between Tom, myself, Jared, and JP on Snapchat one day, where, like, I think Jared was going to, like, some event or whatnot, and Tom's like, "Oh, tell everyone I said hi. I wish I could be there." And it was just like me and Jared going throughout like our day, just like telling people the time. Like I went into the grocery store and was like, "Yeah, did you have help finding everything okay?" I was like, "Yeah," and I just want to let you know my friend Tom says hi. And like Jared would just go up to random, like, "Tom says hi." JP yelling at me aggressively at Grand Slam last year. Tom says hi.
I always tell people, like, and this is like well before the broadcast, like. That's kind of been a thing I like to tell people, like, "Oh, I'm going to see the Backstreet Boys. Oh, make sure you tell them I said hi." Like,
going to church, tell them I said hi.
Tell the Lord I said hey. Ryan, sorry.
But yes, so Ryan, you're next. You're still
Number two. Again, I didn't watch much wrestling, but I wrestled this weekend. today I wrestled with kindergarten homework. It's crazy how much I was reading the directions. I'm like, they word this stuff so strangely. But, I wrestled with that today, helping my niece. It was fun. And my third one, a more sentimental one. Again, you guys caught me with the birthday. I don't advertise my birthday. But I appreciated your investigative skills. You found out and you wished me happy birthday. I really do appreciate it. And like I said, or I had just found out recently that it was Dawn's birthday 2 days after mine. So I truly wrestled back tears, spending time with my little bit of family, just being appreciative that I'm here, that I have this time. I mean, time is so precious. I forget it all the time. But I mean, I was wrestling tears of emotion and feeling for Dawn, because we love Dawn.
Amen to that. Happy birthday to Dawn.
Yep.
So that leaves me, my top three. So CM Punk yelled out a lot of things, including fuck the Pittsburgh Penguins. I would like to say fuck the Chicago Blackhawks. Let's go Devils, baby. Okay?
Let's go Devils. I'll agree with you.
So, fuck you, CM Punk. Okay? There's my 2 cents on that. But number one for me, I got to continue my tradition that I started with the first All Out, and that is I drank my first Sam Adams Oktoberfest of the season while watching All Out, but not only watching All Out and drinking, but getting to watch it with my 2 sisters and my soon-to-be brother-in-law. That was a fun time had by all there. Number 2 of the weekend was the brief conversation I had with friend of the show, Jonathan Mayer, who attended Effie's Big Gay Brunch in Chicago. And he's like, yes, and me and my wife are going to Effie's Big Gay Brunch. That's a wrestling show, by the way. I was like, first of all, no judgment. Second of all, I know. And a conversation that I had with my girlfriend about it. And she's like, is there actual brunch served? I'd go, because I told her like how there's all this wrestling going on this weekend. She's like, oh, is there actual brunch being served? I'd go. I was like, well, it's in Chicago, so no. But I found out from Jonathan Mayer that they served peach French toast, which sounds delicious. So, because I'm just like, I asked him, like, there actual brunch served? Because like I can just imagine like Mance Warner with like a PBR in one hand and a plate of French toast sticks in the other, like, hey, brother, pass the syrup. So Effie's Big Gay Brunch was my second thing. And then my number 3 favorite thing that I enjoyed this weekend was the fact that I got to see so many people around the world, and especially friends of mine, get to enjoy so much great wrestling. No matter where you were in the world, no matter what time zone you were in, no matter what continent you were on, you got to enjoy wrestling this weekend. So I'm glad that everybody got to have fun. And I feel like and I'm sorry to go off the tracks like this a little bit, but I feel like I have hindered a lot of people having fun.
Sorry, before you get this, I gotta go. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. Just about to pour my heart out, but I feel like I've hindered a lot of people having fun, and I've been. I'll admit it because CM Punk won't. I've been an asshole for the last several months. So first of all, I would like to issue Tom, who is not here, Nick, Brian, I would like to issue you guys apologies. I'm sorry for being an asshole. I'm sorry for letting a stupid crown bring out the worst side of me. And so I truly apologize to you, and I'm going to do my best going forward to be polite and be a better person because of that. Number 2, that brings me to this. Obviously, Spaceman George is the king right now, and he has to be present for me to cash this in. But I know where he will be present at one point, whomever the king may be for that matter of fact. That is at WrestleMania, which is why I am not going to let this be a distraction. I'm not going to let anybody live who wears the crown looking over their shoulder. I am here to let you know today that I will cash this in at WrestleMania, whomever the king may be, whomever the Royal Rumble winner may be. I will be a part of that predictions contest to win the crown at WrestleMania. So this will not be a distraction going forward. I don't want anyone to live in fear. I don't want anyone to think that they could get attacked unprovoked. We saw that happen with Nick last year when he got run over by his wife. We saw Ryan, who we thought fell asleep, But so yes, I am truly sorry for just being a blatant asshole, and I'm not going to let that happen. So to those of you who have watched us on our Patreon group that I have told to F off and Jeff off, to you, I am sorry as well. And I hope that you can accept my apology. If you do, great. If you don't, again, I'm sorry that, I've hurt your feelings at any point in this. And in the meantime, and in between time, I'm going to have to pack up this entire cave and find a new house. I don't know where I'm going to live. But yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, I guess until next time then, I guess we've got a Patreon to check out, help me pay rent wherever I live.
Get him a U-Haul.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a U-Haul. So if anybody's got a truck or a van they'd like to lend me or whatnot, or what's that?
I don't have one. No.
Well, that's great. Maybe you can find somebody who can help me. Okay.
I mean, I've got a friend who's got a lot of money and but I don't know if he wants to help you right now.
Yeah, Gerald. Yeah, Gerald and his goal. That's all I got. That's all I had.
Well,
what about Harold?
I could cash these in, I guess. It's like a savings bond essentially, but I really wish Harold was here so I could, I owe him the biggest apology.
Well, hello there, nerds. It's me, Harold the Puppet. Dave, I see those Harold bucks.
You do, bud.
Hi, Ryan. Hi, Nick.
Hi, Harold.
What's up, buddy?
Hi, Tom.
Harold, I guess I owe you the biggest apology of all of them. I threw you off a cell last year. I was a complete jerk to you, and you offered me a hand last week, and I said I told you I would think about it, and I would greatly appreciate your help in finding a new place. Put that real estate agent's license to good use.
I just got my gold jacket for selling so many houses and getting so many people in to new homes. So, Dave, my offer still stands. I would love to help you find a new home.
I would love that, Harold. I'd absolutely love that. I think we can reunite once again, the Mega Nerds. You offer me a hand?
Take it. Take the hand.
Ah! We'll see you next week, everybody. Don't forget to tell your mother you love her every day because, like Kevin Durant said, Mom, you're the real MVP. Good night, everyone, and God bless America.